Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox. I'm the Compliance Evangelist, and I'd like to welcome you to the December edition of my 2017 One Month to a More Effective Compliance Program podcast series, where each month I take a deep dive into a specific part of a best practices compliance program. In the month of December, I'm taking a deep dive into better written standards, which form the very backbone of your compliance program. Written standards include codes of conduct, policies, and procedures, and we're going to be taking a very deep dive into the design of all of these, training, and revising and updating. We'll also take a look at the information communicated by the Department of Justice on what specific policies should be included in your best practices compliance program, including policies on gifts, travel, business entertainment, charitable donations, facilitation payments, third parties, and cybersecurity. We'll also take a look at certain enforcement actions and opinion releases to see what other information we can glean from these. My sponsor this month is my Doing Compliance Masterclass. We recently concluded the first masterclass in November 2017. I'm co-hosting this with Jonathan Marks at Markham LLC. We will be putting on a full series of classes in 2018. Check back for details. This month's podcast series will give you information which will allow you to set up the very foundation of your compliance program. My podcast series on 1 month to a more effective compliance program is a part of the Compliance Podcast Network. Welcome to day 21 of 1 month to better written standards. Today is our concluding episode in this month's 1 month to a more effective compliance program series that I've been running throughout 2017. Next month, I hope you will join me where I have 31 days to a more effective compliance program, where each day I will go through one point to help make your compliance program more effective in light of the Department of Justice's evaluation of corporate compliance programs released in February of 2017 and the new FCPA corporate enforcement policy announced in November 2017. Today, I'm going to take up policies around cybersecurity. Although not strictly in the remit of the compliance practitioner as yet, it is something that is becoming obviously more and more important in corporations, and I believe compliance professionals, compliance practitioners, and more importantly, chief compliance officers are uniquely suited to help put policies in place around cybersecurity. I'll also have a month-end wrap-up of 1 month to better written standards. So what about policy on cybersecurity? Well, here we get to look to the New York's Department of Financial Services, which is issued the first state-level regulations on cybersecurity for financial institutions. They became effective on March 1, 2017. And while they were designed to protect financial services industries and consumers, I think that it certainly has application to a wider variety of non-financial service companies and non-banks, i.e. commercial enterprises. So your overall policy is should be designed to meet 4 goals: detect a cybersecurity event, respond to or identify detected cybersecurity events to mitigate any negative effects, and to recover from cybersecurity events and restore normal operations and fulfill any applicable regulatory obligations. There should be a written policy approved by your board of directors for cybersecurity, and it must be based on a risk assessment taking into effect the following considerations: information security, data governance and classification, asset inventory and device management, access control, identity management, business continuity and discovery planning and resources, systems operations and availability concerns, system and network security, system and network monitoring, systems and application development and quality assurance, physical security and internal controls, vendor and third-party management, and risk assessment and industry response. So with regard to cybersecurity, you need to think about these and consider how you're going to move forward. So this episode today concludes our 1 month series to to better written standards. We've taken a look at the role of senior management in written standards. Certainly, written standards include a variety of written documents, your code of conduct, policies and procedures. We did not touch upon internal controls because we devoted an entire month to internal controls, but they're also written standards. We talked about designing your code of conduct, policies and procedures, and revising them, and also training on them. Then we went through several of the different specific areas listed under the FCPA, which the government believes you should have policies and procedures on. Of course, these included gifts, travel, business entertainment, charitable donations, political contributions, facilitation payments, and third parties. As you know from today, we touched upon cybersecurity and extortion payments. From this series, or from this month, I think you understand that written standards are really the backbone of your compliance program. You need to put a fair amount of work, time, and effort into creating these because everything you do, technology, service, or headcount-wise, builds from this. This is Tom Fox. I hope you've enjoyed this 1-month exploration of more effective written standards in compliance. Next month, I will take a look at 31 days to a more effective compliance program, incorporating the information which came out in the 2017 Evaluation of Corporate Compliance Programs and the new FCPA Corporate Enforcement Policy, which was released in November 2017. Thank you. This is Tom Fox again. Thank you for listening to this episode of 1 Month to Better Written Standards in a Compliance Program. I hope you'll join me tomorrow for another episode. If you have listened to this podcast on iTunes, I would ask that you would rate our podcast, as it would help in our rankings and also help get the word out about the only daily podcast which will give you a hint or tip to improve your compliance program. Also, if you have any questions, you can email me at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This is Tom Fox. Thank you again for listening. I hope you'll join me tomorrow. My podcast series of 1 month to a better compliance program is a part of the Compliance Podcast Network.